Hello everybody, Killer Winston here, and today I will be doing a new what if. And according to the last poll I did, the what if that you guys want is what if Deku had the Ten Commandments. So this new what if is going to be what if Deku had the Ten Commandments. Now, for those who don't watch Seven Deadly Sins, or just don't know what the Ten Commandments powers are, I'll give you a brief idea. So, of course, just as the name sounds, there are 10 commandments. The commandment of faith, which will set the eyes of those who doesn't have faith in, well, flames. The commandment of love, which will cause anyone who holds hatred in their heart to be unable to inflict harm on others. And by hold hatred in their hearts, basically if they're hating others. The commandment of pacifism, those who kill in the presence of the user will have their time stolen away, quickly aging until they die. The commandment of piety, anyone who shows their back to the wielder will become an obedient servant of, well, the wielder. The commandment of reticence, anyone who expresses hidden feeling or emotions will be rendered unable to speak. The commandment of selflessness, those who hold desires from others will lose their memories, emotions, and sense of self. Last but not least, the commandment of truth, those who lie or goes back on their words in the presence of the wielder will be petrified into stone. As for the commandments of patience, purity, and repose, their abilities were not shown in the anime or in the manga, so I'll just have to make up some powers. But if you guys want to, you can go to the comments down below and suggest a power for the commandment of patience, purity, and repose. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the what if. Our story begins with Deku being born and everything being mostly the same until the age of 4. So let's start there. Whenever Deku was 4 years old, a mark would have appeared on Deku's, let's say, his chest. Deku being confused since this mark appeared out of nowhere, with Inko finding this mark whenever she was helping Deku take a bath. Her thinking that it is Deku's quirk manifesting, she would have took Deku to the quirk doctor. With the quirk doctor doing some tests, he would have found out that Deku does not have a quirk. This, of course, surprising both Deku and Inko. Deku being devastated that he doesn't have a quirk, he would have cried on the spot. Him, while crying, would have yelled at the doctor, saying that he's lying. But that was when a doctor whose personality is a bit rude because of his quirk, he would have told both Inko and Deku to basically leave so that the next patient can get checked on. Deku, who's still crying and throwing a tantrum, he would have, of course, not listened to the doctor. With the doctor trying to think of an idea to make Deku leave, he would have just said that if Deku leaves, then he will give Deku a candy. But in reality, the doctor does not have any candy, so he's lying. And right after the doctor told Deku that if he leaves, he'll give him a candy, the doctor would have been turned into stone. This shocking both Inko, Deku, and the doctor who's doing tests on Deku to see if he has a quirk. The doctor would have did some other tests, trying to find out what caused the other doctor, to be turned into stone, and also trying to find a way to help his coworker. And after a few more tests, and with two more people being turned into stone, the doctor would have found out that Deku's quirk, or well, power, is to turn those who lie in his presence into stone. Deku, after hearing that this is his power, he would have mixed feelings. He is happy that he has a quirk, but he's also a bit worried since this quirk seems to be a villain's quirk because, he turns people to stone. However, after even more tests, the doctor and Deku would have found out that they can reverse the effect and turn people from stone back to, well, people. The doctor, being bad at naming, actually just me, he would have named the quirk Stone Lies. I know it's a bad name, but just bear with it for like few parts. So, Deku, after finding out his quirk and getting his quirk named, he would have went back to his house and start experiencing it. And by that, I mean Deku would have did some experiment with his quirk to see if he can use it any other way. Him not finding any other way. However, he did find out that he can turn off his quirk. Deku being confused as to why he can actually turn off his quirk. Him also being confused as to why whenever Deku turns off his quirk, the mark on his chest would also disappear. Now, the next day, whenever Deku got to school, he would have told everyone about his quirk, him saying that if anyone lies in his presence, he, or well, they will be turned into stone. Deku keeping the fact that he can turn off his quirk a secret. Why? Because he doesn't want his classmates to lie. One of his classmates not believing him, he would have told a obvious lie. And right when he did that, he would have been petrified into stone. Everyone being surprised since they thought that Deku was just joking. But now they know that Deku was not joking, and if they lie, they'll turn into stone. As, let's say, a girl from the class would have asked Deku if he can turn this boy back into, well, a boy. To which Deku would just say yes, as he would have put his hand on the stone statue and basically reverse the effect, causing the petrified stone to be unpetrified, or just go back to normal. Bakugo, witnessing this happen, he would have said, big deal, you have a quirk. So what? It's not as good as mine. Deku comparing his quirk with Bakugo, he would of course know that his quirk is inferior to Bakugo combat-wise, which is why Deku from that day on, he would have started to train his body. How? Well, he'll just be doing push-ups, sit-ups, and things like that. As 1.5 years later, whenever Deku deactivated his commandment of truth, or stone lies, another mark would have appeared on his chest. Deku, finding out that this new mark is different from stone lies, or just commandment of truth. You know what? I'm not calling it stone lies anymore. I'm just gonna call it commandment of truth. Either that or the mark of the commandment of truth. Deku, being interested and intrigued as to what he can do with this mark, he would have tried to experiment with it. However, no matter what he tried, nothing seems to happen. As when Deku was in class, he would have switched from the commandment of truth to the new mark, him trying to see if it will work on others, as that was when the teacher would have asked one of his classmates to answer the question. However, that classmate cannot speak, even though his mouth is moving. Deku, thinking that it is the new effect, or the effect of the new mark, he would have immediately switched from the new mark back to truth, with his classmates being able to speak again. And whenever class was over, Deku would have went over to the classmate and asked him why he could not talk, to which the classmate would just say that he's confused, since whenever he was answering the teacher's question, he wasn't lying or doing anything. The only thing he's, feeling is that he's annoyed at the fact that the teacher gave them more homework. Deku, taking a mental note about that, he would have tested again the next day, and finding out that whenever this mark is enabled, those who express hidden feelings or hidden emotions will be rendered unable to speak. Basically, the commandment of reticence. Deku, after finding out that his second, quirk is also not an offensive quirk, he would continue to train his body a bit harder. And as another 2 years passes, another mark would have appeared on Deku's chest whenever he deactivated both of his other commandments. Deku, being confused as to why this is happening again, he would, just like last time, start to test and experiment what this mark can do. However, after half a day of experimenting and testing, Deku could not find what this mark can do. Deku, giving up, he would have just turned off that commandment and go to sleep, him waking up the next day and continuing to test it out. As whenever he was walking to school, his new commandment would have been active, him still continuing to try and figure out what it does, as that was when a man right next to Deku would start to age rapidly. Deku, being confused since, that happened out of nowhere, with the man falling onto the ground and, dying. But whenever Deku took a closer look on that man, he would have found a bug on the man's neck, with that bug being dead. Deku thinking, is this a coincidence? But just as he thought that, another, let's say a woman, would have started to age rapidly again, her falling onto the ground and dying of old age. Everyone around Deku starting to, yell and panic since they thought that there is a murder going on. Deku inspecting the lady, he would have found another bug on the lady's neck. But this time, the bug is alive. Deku looking around the lady and finding a mosquito in her hands, which is dead. Deku seeing that those two people have like two common factors, those being they both died because of rapid aging, and the second being that those two people both have a dead bug on their body. Deku would have immediately realized that he might have accidentally caused both of their deaths because he activated his, new quirk. Deku having to immediately deactivate his new quirk, he would have started to walk away, trying to escape from the scene, since if he was caught, he is going to, be put in prison, or just something like that. Him arriving at school and just pretending like nothing happened. As that will be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. That'll be amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!